Hi, I'm Melissa with the Joyful Ranch, and today I'm going to be making ahead some snacks for my large family with 6 kids. So I'm going to be making some almond butter protein bites, some peanut butter oat bites, a batch of chia seed pudding, a big batch of popcorn, and a batch of Jell-O. So if you're interested, then here we go. The first thing that I'm making is some unsweetened protein bites, and for this recipe I need some unsweetened coconut flakes, and I wanted these pieces to be a little bit smaller, so I'm putting them in the food processor and blending them up for a bit. I need about a cup of these for this recipe, and so after they're done blending, I put them over my bowl to measure, and it ended up being just a little bit less than a cup, so I just dumped the whole thing in. Next, I'm going to add in this flour blend I have. If you are a fan of Trim Healthy Mama, this is just the Frugal Flour blend, which is just an equal blend of coconut flour, flaxseed flour, and almond flour. Next is some salt and some vanilla extract. And this is a recipe that I'm making just for myself. This is not for my kids to eat. And so I am adding some stevia. This is just an alcohol extraction of stevia that I get from a local natural food store. Now I'm doing some peanut butter. I love peanut butter, so I have to have it in this recipe. And then next I'll be adding in some almond butter as well. Now I need to get some coconut oil melting and pour it over. The coconut oil is what really hardens up in the fridge and holds these together, so it is really important to use coconut oil in this recipe. I'm just giving that a stir to make sure it's all mixed in. And now I'm going to chop up 1 cup of pecans. I really like the taste and the texture of pecans. They always remind me of Mexican wedding cookies, which is one of my favorites. But if you're not a pecan lover, then you could definitely do any other type of nut and just chop them up as small as you want them. This recipe is very versatile, and that is why I really like it. You can kind of use what you have on hand. So now I'm stirring this up, and I'm going to add in some chia seeds. And I put in about 4 tablespoons of chia seeds. Next, I have some store-bought sugar-free chocolate chips, and this is just what I have on hand, so I'm using it up. And lastly, I will add in 4 scoops of this grass-fed collagen. And now I'm just going to mix this up until it's all incorporated. And before I can scoop these into mounds on a cookie sheet, the coconut oil does need to set up for a little bit, so I need to pop this in the fridge. I had it in the fridge for about an hour and a half. And you can see it is a little bit hardened up, but not completely hard, which is exactly what you want. You don't want it to be too hard, because then you won't be able to scoop it at all. So I'm just using a spoon here and putting these into little mounds. And then I'll put these cookie trays and this plate into the fridge and let them completely solidify before I transfer them into a baggie. I had a little bit left over, and I was out of space on my cookie trays, so I just put the remaining here into a zip top bag and squished it all so it was flat. And then I put that in the fridge, and I could really just break pieces off of it as I wanted. They were not as pretty as the ones that were in little mounds, but they worked just fine. The next thing that I'm going to work on are some peanut butter oat bites. So the first thing I'm doing is adding in 2 cups of rolled oats, And then I'm adding in 1 full jar, I think it's about a 16-ounce jar, of unsweetened peanut butter. And next I'll add in some hemp protein fiber and a big glob of honey. I'm using coconut oil in this recipe as well. So I melted it on the stove, and here I am just pouring it over the bowl. And then I'm going to stir this all together, and the last thing that I'll add is some chocolate chips. After this is blended together, it needs to sit in the fridge for a bit to firm up. The next thing that I'm going to make is some chia seed pudding. And so I have my individual jars here for little grab and go cups that I'm going to make. And right now I'm putting in a tablespoon of chia seeds. I end up actually going back in and adding in another tablespoon because I didn't think it was going to thicken up enough. And the texture turned out perfectly fine after that. So it was 2 tablespoons of chia seeds per cup. I'm blending up some strawberries, frozen strawberries that I got with the almond milk that I have that I need to use up. And then just pouring that over each cup of chia seeds and giving them a quick stir before I put on the lids. And here it is, I made 10 of these cups. After I did this, my protein bites were all solidified, so this is how they turned out after they sat in the fridge for a while. And now I'm just going to transfer them into a baggie so I can keep them in the fridge. I really enjoyed how these turned out, and they were perfect for grabbing and going, which is something I really like to have on hand for myself. And here are the peanut butter oat balls that I have. And I'm just getting these rolled up after they sat in the fridge for a little bit to firm up. And once I'm done, I will pop these into zipper top bags as well. My kids absolutely love these. I made this whole big batch, and this was gone within 3 days. They could eat as many of them as I let them have. And I really like these too, actually. I used to make these snacks for myself, but I'm trying to avoid the sugar right now, so these will be for my kiddos. Now I'm going to make some Jell-O. This is one of my go-to snacks for my kids. It is a favorite with them, and it's nutritious because of the gelatin that's in it. It's got a lot of protein in it. It's super easy to make. So first I need to get some juice heating up on the stove. I'm heating up 4 cups of juice, and then I have 4 cups of juice in my bowl here, and I sprinkle over a half a cup of gelatin. As that softens up here, I'm going to work on making some popcorn real quick. I'm using coconut oil and a little bit of butter. This is a whirly pop that I got years ago, and I just love it. Back to my Jell-O here, I have my heated juice, and I'm pouring it over the bloomed gelatin in the bowl of cold juice and whisking that together here. And once the gelatin has been fully incorporated, I'm going to pour it into a pan, and I'll give it a little bit of time to cool off before I stick it in the fridge so that it doesn't disrupt my refrigerator temperature and make it work too hard. Now that I have that done, my popcorn is also done and ready to be transferred into bags. I use these bread bags for this. They hold a little bit more than the zip top bags, more than a gallon size or something like that. And so these work perfect for this purpose. And my one batch of popcorn in the Whirly Pop gave me this whole big giant bowl full. And out of that, I got 2 big bags here. And this lasted my large family with 6 kids for one snack. Okay, this Jell-O has been sitting overnight and you can see it's nice and firm to the touch here. And now I'm going to get it cut up and put into little plastic containers to pop in the fridge and be ready to eat. Our days are very busy here on the ranch. During the week, we are homeschooling full time, and on the weekends are equally as busy because we're working on projects or maybe we're working on the house. And I really enjoy having these snacks on hand all the time. It just makes my life a lot easier to have things to grab and go so I don't even have to think about what to get out for a snack or what to grab. Sometimes I use these for quick lunches. I'll incorporate them with something else, and the work is done for me. I don't have to do it at the time in the middle of the busy season that we're in. So that about finishes it up. This batch of snacks lasted us for at least a few days. It got us almost through the whole week. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.